Hi, I'm Jenny, coming to you from Threads of Hope Counseling in Minnesota. Today I want to talk to you about how to take care of yourself during this crazy time of COVID. When you're thinking about self-care, especially during these times, I think the first step is that you need to start your day intentionally. That may mean getting dressed, putting on something besides sweatpants. Maybe it means putting on sweatpants and giving yourself a little grace. But whatever you're doing to start your day, do it intentionally. Don't roll out of bed at the crack of whatever. Plan how you're going to start your day. Maybe that means something to do with your self-care routine at the beginning of the day, whether it's taking a nice shower before you get started, doing your hair, putting on makeup. Whatever it is that makes you feel ready for your day, don't neglect that just because you're working from home. Number 2, stop the scrolling, please. There is a difference between being informed and being obsessed. You're scrolling through your newsfeed endlessly is not necessarily getting you more informed, but it is affecting your mental health, whether you totally realize it or not. There's been a lot of research about how the media sensationalizes things. So even if you're getting factual information, they are trying to make you feel something. There was a kind of an interview with a guy named Eric Bischoff several years ago who was involved in the wrestling world, the professional wrestling world. And he basically said that you're in a good place if people either like you or if they hate you. Really, you're not going to be successful if they don't feel anything. And the media has followed this trend. They want to make you feel something even if it's negative. So it's very important that you regulate how much you're exposing yourself to, because it will impact your mood. Regarding your news, make sure you are fact-checking your sources. There's a lot of false news out there on the internet these days, and sometimes even on live media, you may see false news. So it's important that you are checking reputable sources. But again, remember that even the reputable sources are going to have potentially some political bent. They're going to be trying to make you feel something. So you still need to be aware of that and manage the amount that you are consuming. Did you hear that COVID can be cured by rubbing butter on your neck? Of course not, because it's ridiculous. And there are a lot of ridiculous pieces of news out there. That's why it's important that we really take the time to educate ourselves and don't jump and emotionally react to the first piece of news that we see in our feed. My third tip is to give yourself space to grieve. Maybe you haven't thought about this as a time of grieving, but it's really a time of shared grieving for a lot of us in the world. We're all facing not just fears about COVID, potentially other health-related concerns, fears about finances, major changes in how we work, major changes in how we educate our kids and having to juggle distance learning or whatever the struggle is in your house. It's a very difficult time, and there is grieving with that. Now, the stages of grief are pretty much the same, even if you're not experiencing a death in your family, or maybe you are. We still need to give ourselves space to deal with all of this. The first stage of grieving, and mind you, these are not linear, they can come in any order and they can keep coming in any order, would be denial. So, this COVID thing isn't really that big a deal. I probably wouldn't get sick. Even if I was asymptomatic, I think I would know, the world's not really that different. If I just give it 2 weeks, probably everything in my life will be totally back to normal. Not really realistic, but that is a stage of the grief process, and it's okay to feel that way sometimes. The second stage is bargaining. This is where you're kind of trying to emotionally work out a deal, whether you're trying to bargain with God, whether you're trying to just make something up in your head to make you feel like you can get out of this yucky place you find yourself in. So, if I eat enough kale, I'm sure I won't get COVID. Or maybe if I pray hard enough, I'll stay healthy, or I'll keep my job, or I'll just stop feeling this way. It's something that I need to do, right, to fix this problem. The third stage of grief is anger. So maybe you're feeling just really mad about the hand you've been dealt right now. Maybe you're looking at your life and going, this just stinks. It stinks that I'm stuck here at home. It stinks that I've lost my job, that I can't have the wedding I always dreamed of, that my kid can't engage in sports like they've always wanted to, or my family themselves are driving me crazy because I'm stuck at home. I'm just mad about all of it. Again, this is a normal part of grief, and I think if we recognize it as such, it's easier for us to deal with it. The fourth stage of grief is depression. This might look like just feelings of hopelessness, feelings of, I feel so miserable. I'm not actively mad or trying to blame someone anymore, but maybe I just feel like, what's the point? What's the point of putting on pants today? What's the point? There's no hope for the future right now, right? It feels like I'm just going to be stuck here forever. Whether maybe I'm actively grieving some losses of people in my life. Maybe I'm grieving the loss of a job. Maybe I'm just feeling like life doesn't have as much meaning as it used to have for me right now because I'm trapped and I can't do the things that I want to do. Again, this is a normal stage of grief. And if we recognize that, we can be better equipped to handle it. And the fifth stage of grief would be acceptance. And this again is not a state that we're aiming to arrive at because it can be cyclical. We can bounce around between the stages. This is where I'm looking at the situation going, well, it is what it is. This is not my favorite. I don't love being trapped at home or any of those things. But I also recognize that it's all out of my control. There's nothing I can personally do other than keeping myself and my family safe to make this pandemic end any faster, or to make things turn around in my job, or to maybe even to get a job in this stage. Just kind of accepting what's going on and trying your best to make the most of it. My next tip for how to effectively deal with COVID and take care of yourself is to stay connected to loved ones. This is so, so critical, especially even more so when you feel like isolating. Remember that isolating is a symptom of depression, and it's also something that perpetuates depression. So we really need to fight that urge and reach out to others. Now, even if you have to make some concessions right now, maybe you have to do a Zoom call or a phone call or email or connect with people on social media, within healthy framework, of course. It's really, really important that we have time with people who support us, who encourage us, and remember to ask for help if you're needing it. Even if you feel like everyone else is struggling, and most people are in some way. Again, we're in a shared grieving season. We're in a shared experience of this craziness, but that doesn't mean that people can't help you, even if all they can do for you is agree with you that this is really hard. My last pointer for you for self-care during COVID is to practice gratitude. Now, bear with me. Don't roll your eyes at me. I know it sounds a little dorky, but having that attitude of gratitude, focusing intentionally on being grateful and appreciating the things that you do have, the blessings that might be in your life, really is a game changer. There's so much evidence about the effectiveness of practicing gratitude intentionally. It changes your whole mindset. It rewires your brain. And it does improve your mood over time. So even if you initially feel like you have to fake it till you make it kind of thing, like, well, I'm thankful that I have kids, even though they're making me crazy right now, or I'm thankful I have a job even though doing it from home is so much less satisfying for me, or whatever you're dealing with. There are things in your life you can be grateful for. And if you spend more of your time focusing on that, you will do a lot better in your emotional and mental health. So thank you for listening today. I hope that I gave you some good pointers for taking care of yourself during this crazy season. I know it's really hard. It's really hard for a lot of us. We won't be stuck here forever, but I hope these tips will help you to make the most of it and continue taking care of yourself. Thanks, and have a great day.